Hello, and welcome to Top Sim. You already probably can feel that this episode looks and is a little bit different than the episodes of the past. And that is because we are making a content switch with the channel to going from a somewhat of a scripted, rehearsed, practiced content show, internet show, to something more of a sim racing channel, I guess you could say, shifting from having something that's more of a packaged on its own feature kind of thing to something that's more involved with sim racing, and different sim games themselves, as opposed to something that's more focused on the narrative rather than the racing. And this has been a bit of an experiment, I guess you could say, so far with what we've done with the channel and how it's kind of turning out. So at first I had this vision that this show would be something that you could see on that you could hold in some sort of I think I was putting it on a bit of a pedestal. I guess it was the problem, putting on a bit of a pedestal, that I had this expectation that the show was going to be something that you could either expect to see on TV if television was a market or a place that was interested in the demographic of sim racing, so to say. So clearly this would only be something you would find on the internet, because that's really where the interest in sim racing is. But I wanted it to be something that would be representative of some sort of car show, but for sim racers in some sort of sim racing space. In practice, that was different than what I thought or what I felt like it was in theory before the show, quote unquote, became to be, before Top Sim became to be a channel and came to have a couple of uploads. But really, what I'm finding that is successful with the Top Sim model, both in success and discoverability, and both in success in terms of what I'm interested in, and I think both of and then the third thing being not only discoverability, but I think the majority of viewers find interesting as well, being this more race-based nature of the show, instead of something, like I was saying earlier, that is kind of more of a scripted narrative. And with that, I think, like, the last two episodes, as we'll refer to them, the last two uploads, are going to be very indicative of what is to come in the future. Something like a 24-hour race, something like a 20-minute, 30-minute race, or an hour endurance race, something like that, which was the AMS upload. I think that is something that will become a regular thing. And then the last upload, the most recent upload before this one, was the Pikes Peak challenge. And I think part of that is it is very much still racing. It may be not necessarily the very traditional GT3 racing around Brands Hatch, but something that is still very much a part of racing in sim racing, that I feel like is both fun and important, and a great change of pace to the traditional, whether it be F1 or GT3 or GTE style racing that really is predominant in the space of sim racing content. And beyond that, I do think that there is room for a special episode or a segmented show, whatever we're referring to this old model of Top Sim videos. However we're categorizing them, I think there is still a place for them, but I don't think it's a weekly upload. I think that the place for a video like that is, as the title, to deem it a special. And so I think as a result of it being a special, it should exist in some way, shapes, or forms, because there are very special events when it comes to racing and sim racing. The Indy 500 is both an event that is big in real life motorsports as well as big in the sim racing community. 24 Hours of Nürburgring, same deal. That's something that's replicated very frequently in sim racing. and as well as kind of on a big stage. And it, of course, is, you know, a big motorsports event in general. So I think there is room for celebrations of those events, celebrations of different achievements, feats, different eras of motorsports. But I don't, and sim racing, not just motorsports. And I don't think that it is a staple. I don't think that that is something that is going to be an every week type of content or even type of interest that I or other people would have from a week to week basis. I think a lot of us sim racers are interested in sim racing specifically. We're interested in the action, in the lap times, in the car on car battles, and I think you know, that is what, you know, draws all of us into sim racing, or whatever, you know, sim that you know, you have a preference to, whether it be something from a Formula One car to, you know, something like this, like Assetto Corsa. And so because of that, I think there's so much room for battle, so much room for racing. And I think that is not only that, that is what I do. I do more of, you know, racing. At least that's what I enjoy doing more than I do putting weird tracks and car combos together to do something that's funny. But there is room for, you know, the fun, into the impossibility, the absurdity that you can achieve with sim racing. But I don't think it's a regular part of either sim racing or what should be represented on Top Sim. But anyway, here we have my first go at a 24-hour race, and again replicated in 24 minutes in ACC. I have done, you know, smaller races, regular length races before, you know, this amount of time, whether it be 5 laps or like a 10-minute race or something like that. And of course, did a lot of or a fair bit of hot lapping practice to get a feel for the car and tracks in the sim. But this was my first foray into the 1-day cycle, 24-hour, 24-minute in ACC. And after having this experience, after having this race, it has made me dive into ACC more since then. And in fact, it kind of it persuaded me to spend a little bit less time in R Factor 2, just because I feel like when it comes down to it, and the way that those two kings, those two titans of sim racing feel, is I feel like they're both very similar. I think the difference is R Factor takes itself a little bit more seriously, and I think ACC focuses on better looks and more immersion in the feel, as opposed to having this this claim is to being potentially the most accurate, most realistic sim on the market. But anyway, it looks like we have transferred into the nighttime here in the McLaren 720s, battling up relatively towards the front for some high position battles. As you can see, the game is skipping a little bit here, and that was something that I was experiencing in game. I could not figure out what the problem was, because my computer usages were all fairly low. But anyway, we'll get into the live aspect of the race. I appreciate you guys sticking around to hearing what, you know, the future of Top Sim is. But I appreciate it, guys. Let's get into the race, and let me know what you guys have thoughts on this kind of shift or this kind of decision. So thank you guys for watching, and let's enjoy the rest of this battle live. Why did I say it like that?
Just keep them nice and close. Close enough to be able to follow and learn from them, but far enough away for them to be at a safe distance. Oh, that's a late break, that's a late break. Alright, this guy wants to get around me for that. I don't blame him too much. Alright, every time we make it through that curve safely, I get very excited. okay. We still are maintaining sight of that car in front of us. I hope that tire pressure is not going down anymore. Let's see if I notice anyone lower than the rest. The left rear is slightly lower, but not any amount lower that I would actually be concerned about. I think we're gonna be okay. As we get further into the night, we just gotta remember to keep in distance of, oh, another late break here.
Car on the left.
The same exact spot, huh?
Clear on the left.
How did he not get around me there? Alright, we're losing our carrot. Got that corner all wrong. And another Audi goes by me. See, I'd really like to get that podium position back, and now that we're spread out, it's going to make it a little bit harder to do. Shit. We were sitting at second place at one point, if you believe it. It's just getting worse and worse. Oh, the sun is coming up, though. The sun comes up as we sit in 5th place, which is usually a goal we have.
Losing pressure on the left front.
These are my 2 positions that I need by the end of the race easily.
Car on the left.
That was an early shift.
Clear on the left.
Alright, now we gotta get to this Merc. We gotta get our top 5 back. Oh, it's my tires. They're degrading over time and I'm not taking into account. I'm gonna have less grip in them. That was not nearly as apparent in AMS 2. Let's see, hopefully I'm taking better care of the car, and as a result I'm gonna have I shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, pressure still going down in the left rear. Keeping our eye on it rather. We're not losing it terribly. Oh, it's going back up even a little bit. So I think as long as we just keep our eye on it and fucking
Light damage on the front of the car. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right.
that is so
Clear on the
annoying. Alright. We're gonna have to try a little bit harder to get in front of this guy now. I wonder if I'm doing anything to bring him closer. It looks like only getting further away at this point. We're gonna just probably have to do our best to hold on to the position that we've got as we go off-road and a car tries to make a pass.
Clear on the right. Car on the right.
Alright, we cannot let this car get around us. go. Alright, 6 seconds to that car in front of us. I can see the damage on our hood. We are in defense mode. We just have to keep what position we currently have. We gotta do our best to hold 7th as cleanly and as fast as we can. We're keeping the guy behind us at a nice pace. The guy in front of us is virtually the same time ahead, if not slightly closer to us. But if we keep getting in the grass like that, we're just going to ruin whatever little bit of advantage that we did have bringing him in. Yeah, he's back over 6 seconds now. We're 6 seconds off still. Well, now it's going to surely be more.
Car on the right.
As they go for the inside move on me.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
And we just barely hold it off. Holding what looks to be a Bentley behind us at bay. Now the car in front of us up to 7 seconds away. Oh, 26 seconds left in the race. We just have to get it to the finish line pretty much. This was a much easier task to accomplish, a 24-hour race in 24 minutes, than it was an AMS2. These cars are much more consistent. The AI is actually intelligent. This was a much more pleasant experience, but the car in AMS2 was a little bit more unique, a little bit more fun. That being said, this was a very classic racing experience. Very classic racing experience. Oh, we're doing one more lap. We're doing one more lap. Good thing I didn't almost crash the car here. We are doing one more lap. Okay, our final lap. Haha, almost made a big mistake and just drove it straight into a wall. Thinking that we were on our cooldown lap and I could just hit escape for cooldown lap control. Oh, a little bit of sight. I just barely saw the car that we were racing in front of us going through this corner as we made our way through the previous one. Just doing what we can to prioritize staying on course and keeping position.
Leader has finished the race.
Oh, it wouldn't be our final lap without hitting a little bit of sand. But here we come to the checkered flag in 7th place in our first ACC 24 hours in 24 minutes race.